Rainbow Nation, a country that continues to stand tall in the continent. You talk about the apartheid that they went through, and it is a constant reminder of what the country went through. But let's go straight to the proverb today. The ox always takes the first hit. The ox always takes the first hit. How would you interpret that?
The ox.
Yes.
We have two ways.
Mm-hmm.
An ox meaning a human being, maybe a man. An ox meaning a tree.
Ox meaning an animal.
An animal.
Ile ng'ombe ya kulima mtaa.
Okay, my interpretation will be like an ox gets
Always gets the first hit.
the first hit. Kama ni ng'ombe, it's always like maybe taking a responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
You're in a position to lead. That's my because when ng'ombe ya mtaa unajua inafanyishwa kazi mingi sana. So kuna zile za town siku hizi. So
zile kula gazeti. Ina makaratasi ya chips.
So ukisema ya mtaa, I think inafanyanga it's all about leadership. Because ukiangalia inafanyanga kazi almost the same na as a donkey. Zinataka kwenda sambamba. So that will be my interpretation.
Leadership and responsibility to lead.
Absolutely.
Yes,
okay. So these two guys were looking at me in the morning. I think they were a bit confused and they were wondering who swapped Ndu for somebody else because they don't know that I know so much about football and I really enjoy it. So
I was shocked.
You were very shocked.
And actually I was learning some things. Like I didn't know the players who are playing in Chan are drawn from the clubs because I was wondering, why am I not seeing international names?
There you go.
This one Ajua.
There you go. So
Chan,
It's watching the ball.
So people confuse Chan and AFCON all the time. And that's, we understand if there's anything to designate the two. If we look at the rank of football, and you can stop me if I'm wrong here, is that Chan on the global scale is a bit lower in terms of rank. AFCON is a little bit higher because what we are doing here is that they said, let's try and really as much as possible increase participation in and foster the sport at the domestic level. So Chan brings the championships together for players who are in domestic clubs.
Sure.
If you play in a foreign club, we're going to take you to AFCON, right? So it's the nations of players at the domestic club level. AFCON is the championships for the nations of players from anywhere. You can play in Kenya, you can play in La Liga, you can play anywhere in the world, but we take you to AFCON. Okay, so now we know the difference. And they both happen every 2 years, usually in alternate of each other. So what we're focusing on right now is also the first time that Chan is triple hosted by Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And we're going to see the first time also that AFCON will be triple hosted, and we'll tell you who those countries are later.
You know.
I know. Let's be easy. So, James is here to talk about certain things that we're looking at when it comes to the Chan tournament. There are many things. When we look at the welfare of players, when we look at the preparedness to host this tournament, when we look at, what it could actually mean for African football. Harambee Stars also actually stamping the authority in this first match that they played against two-time champions DR Congo, and what that could actually mean. When we're in the group stages, are we really worried? When we get to the round of 16, are we then saying, okay, perhaps then we should ramp it up a little bit more? Kenya has a new coach also, and he's also stamped his authority by bringing the boys that victory yesterday. But let's start off with the thing that everybody's talking about right now, is that the boys were promised 1 million shillings for every win. 500,000 shillings for every draw, and a handsome package was promised to them by the president. And then social media was awash with, no, don't just give that money to the players. What we need to do is we need to inject some well-needed resources in the sport. What do you think about that, James?
Yeah, first of all, I want to say that I'm very happy for the boys and congratulations to them. From the start when we had the polling and everyone said that we in the group of death, you know. And football is a different ball game now in Africa. And being the host, unajua, we have that saying, maybe in Aluya, Holy Mungo, unajua. So we at home. And you feel like this is an opportunity for the boys, of course, to make sure that they stamp authority. And also it's a biggest platform around the continent to give the local players a chance, of course, to play professional football. If someone ever dreamed of playing professional football, playing in a well-paid league, you know. Yeah. And it was a good gesture from the president, every time we always say that football players get peanuts when they play football. And now here the president, His Excellent William Ruto, giving them that some amount to make sure that they play their hearts out for the country is a good gesture. You know, we have midterm plans. We have short-term, midterm, and long-term plans. Now, at the moment, we're playing CHAN. And our main aim is, of course, to win the tournament. That's all the aspect that all Kenyans need to see. But again, after CHAN, the good thing is that the players could have had the platform. Watakuwa wametuachia pia viwanja. We have the structures. Business, imekuja, hotels are making money, you know. And also it's a test for us if we are in a position to hold the 2027 Africa Cup of Nations. Now, the biggest tournament, as you say. But for me, local CHAN is the best tournament for the local players, because all of these players can't make to the AFCON prestigious tournament when we have foreign-based players playing in those developed leagues coming to play around. But again, from the first game, when if you watched Tanzania play Burkina Faso, Kenya playing DRC, and again Egypt, Morocco playing Angola, you could see the quality in the local players. That means that we have the local leagues have really improved around the continent, and also that tells you that we will have more African players playing in more developed leagues.
So Situma, when you talk about the game as already is, you look at any time we have international games is when we see the leaders come out to give promises and encouragement for these players to go pour out their heart for the country. But then again, one would expect that these investments and this encouragement is something that is continuous and constant, so that we grow the football and the game pretty much in the country. So what would be, even after CHAN is gone and after AFCON is gone, how then do we ensure that this conversation does not just stop here, that it is a constant conversation on how we will improve the welfare of the players, how we will continue investing in football pitches, and also just ensuring that our footballers are given the attention and respect that they deserve?
Yeah, it's unfortunate that I'll say per se politicians use football to gain mileage, and this always happen during the December holidays. Every year you will see in every village you have a tournament. A politician giving out maybe 1 million for the winner, and again that's a one-time thing, and in between the year, almost 10 months, 11 months, nothing is happening. And, for me, I won't encourage something like that, because you see, everyone wants to associate with success. But again, success needs investment. And investment in these terms, we mean like we need to invest more in our game, invest more in the players, in the structures, and make sure that it's a long-term thing, you know. And our game against DRC tells you that we have more talents, but again, during these major tournaments, that's whereby you'll have maybe politicians coming in, and it's something that we really need to do. Make sure that we come up with good structures. Let it be a conversation, in the parliament, to make sure that how can we grow our sports in all industries, be it volleyball, be it athletic, be it netball, football, But again, Kenya. During these tournaments, that whereby you have the politicians want to be more relevant, giving out more package. Of course, it's an opportunity and an advantage for the players to earn something during this time. It's investing time. But for me, I learned an industry whereby we have good structures from the youth development, from the young age. Like now, we have so many good players in secondary schools, in junior primary schools. But how can we tap those talents and make sure that we develop them to come up and make sure that they give us a very good team at the top? So it's a continuous conversation, and it needs a deliberate intentions to make sure that we develop our sports, and more so make sure that athletics earn a good living from sports.
My questions, James might sound Situma, sorry, might sound very ignorant. You'll forgive me, because I'm trying to understand the game as Ndu understands it. under Seto. So yesterday's goal made 40 millionaires. So therefore, I think the number is it's a 40-member squad, I think. Or it's more than that. I'm not so sure.
Almost there, because when you have around, let's say, 25 players from the technical staffs, around 15. Yeah, it's almost around 40.
So the 1 million that the president promised was for all those, not just those who played.
Yeah, of course, as a team, when you win, even if you're a player, technical bench, you have played a part. Exactly. You played a part of that game.
So let's say there are 40, just to round up the figure, we assume these are 40 millionaires now. That's 40 million spent on this. I'm just wondering, in terms of welfare, because you were talking about having structures and the need to have this as a constant conversation, I can call it KEFWA. KEFWA, right?
Yes.
What role does KEFWA play? I just want to understand, what exactly do you do directly with the players and also at the club leadership levels? And were you involved in any of these players that are now currently playing in Chan?
The core mandate of KEFWA is looking into the welfare of the players, and that's contracts aspect, whereby maybe if we don't have a mutual agreement between a club and a player, kuna push and pull. So that's whereby we come in, and what we normally do is we also capacity build the players to make sure that before they sign these contracts, they're able to go through the contracts to understand what entails in the contract, so that they can sign the contracts. So the challenge we normally have is that most of the players are ignorant. Few of them will follow the right path, the right way, to make sure that they sign the contract. And apart from that, issues pertaining contracts, it involves legal issues, and that takes some time when maybe Team A is being involved with a player legally. So what we normally do is we also have some other products on board, whereby we empower the players, because we have life after football. What can you do after football? The transition between playing and not playing. And we have majority of the players, they go back to coaching, whereby we normally chip in, make sure that they go back to class and go through the coaching aspect. We have other players that normally go to maybe want to be a team manager, and also we have a program in between now called Mind the Gap. We have some of the players are doing some good stuff beside football.
So I'm just trying to understand, for many players, I don't know whether this really happens in Kenya. You will hear a player that's been approached by a club. You find a player has their own agent. So at this point, the relationship from the player being approached to having their own agent, then to you. So are you then replacing that agent, or you are complementing the agent? How does it work?
In fact, we have a program called Fake Agents, whereby we have genuine agents who are licensed, and we have the fake agents who are not licensed. And most of them are sadly to say, in our country, we have the journalists, wataandikia mchezaji, unajua we ni fundi. Then next day, nakupeleka team fulani. So what we normally do, of course, we don't control mchezaji anataka kuwa na agent mgani, but what we normally do, we make sure that do you have the right agent, and if you are involved, you are in a problem, because majority of them wanakuanga kwa problem na fake agents. Whatever they have promised the player in Kenya, when the player lives in Kenya, akifika huko haiko vile alikuwa ameambiwa. So that's where we come in, you know, legally to make sure that the player anapata haki yake. So we can do that as an organization. If a player wants us to represent him, it's okay, we can. But if he feels that anataka mtu mwingine represent, we don't control that.
What are the main disputes you find in terms of contractual obligations between a player and a club approaching a player?
Most of the times, of course, late payment of the salaries, and also termination of the contracts without proper not in a proper way, kulingana na the way the contract it says. And at times also we have the aspect of medical coming in. A player is injured, unapata he's dropped or she's dropped from the team without pia kufuata the vitu ziko kwa contract. So those are the main issues we normally get between a player and a club in matters of contract.
So Sifuna, you
Situma.
So for this the first time we're discussing sports. So Sifune kwa kichwa.
So Situma, if we look at your stint, 16 years, you know, look at all the clubs that you played for. Albania, you being the first player to play in the Albanian league, is a question of the 16 years that you played and when you hung your boots. Has anything changed if you just sit and see challenges that were there 16 years ago when you were playing? Has anything changed? Has it gotten any better? Because we understand that you've mentioned about grooming players from an early age. And here comes now the football academies. I know one that the Wanyamas have put up. But then again, in terms of the country itself coming up with football academies to be able to assist in having players for the long term, you know, has anything changed? I'm about to go pale.
I'll say yes and no. Yes, I'll say, of course, with the digital generation around, I think it has given some of the coaches also a chance to learn. Our coach will alikuwa na coach before. As analog, so squeeze we have also sports science being involved. How unaweza read body language ya mchezaji vile amechoka. So we have so many things zenye zimekuja na of which I'm so happy that most of the coaches they have impressed by force, because huwezi baki nyuma. Unaona hivyo ndiye nafanywa. But again, when I say no, I mean we have intention and deliberately coaches that want to develop players, but again we don't have well structures to take them through to make sure that this players being developed from the young age to the top. That's why we get the challenge whereby our best players, few of them manage to play top league around the world, but most of them they fail. Why? Under their best players, because we have in between the development stage and the competitive stage, they have missed some steps in between. Unaona, so unapata akienda ndio ni wetu ni top, but akienda huko unaangalia the European football vile iko na structures ziliko, kuna stage unaangalia no, he missed something. So unapata he's not the best. So unapata after 3-6 months he's dropped. Unaona. So I think we need just to be more consistent in development stage, and we need to embrace the aspect of learning, you know. Let us benchmark, let us be innovative, let us be creative. What's our culture? Unaona, because naturally as Kenyans ukiangalia footballers, athletics, naturally they are energetic. Now nini tunafaa kuinstill kwa our players? So lazima tukue wa creative to make sure that they can compete at the top. So what we just need to do is make sure that the structures are being followed consistently, because normally vitu tusumbua pia unapata our 16 player age, akiwa mzuri unapata we rush him, maybe anaenda kucheza under 20 ama under 23 juu ni fundi ama nini, but at times if he is that extraordinary it's okay, but he can be good, but again lazima he has to go through the all stages the same way in class 1. Nowadays we have PP1, PP2, grade 1.
Yes.
So even if you are good, you like getting maybe in grade 4 100% or you exemptions, then you can't just jump grade 5 and 6 and go to 7. You just need to follow those steps. Those stage, go through the steps to make sure that you are a complete player.
Are we able to do all these things as a country?
Yes, we are, but we don't have goodwill. We don't have the aspect of we can invest in the sports, and I can say it's really affected by the bad politics we always play. Because mimi nikiingia najua unanipiga vita. We don't take criticism, of course, positively, and again we like to draw lines, you know, nimekuja, I just want to work with this one, siwezi work na mtu mwingine. But for me, my perception is we can have politics, but at the end of the day, when politics imeisha, we come together, even hata wenye wako hiyo side, wenye wako side yako, because they have the idea. So we put ideas together and make sure that we build on that. But geopolitics we can't. But I'm very 100%.
Is the politics? You know, I normally say where you will find politics, there is money. There will always be a question of money somewhere. Is it because there's always money somewhere? And that's the reason why people keep fighting, because football has money.
Exactly. Football has
from
money.
FIFA. There's politics way at the top governing body, FIFA.
Down to the local organizing committee. Down to
We have a lot. We have huge for the sports. In fact, both in men and women. If we have even in development, we have development money. In that money, we have capacity building money. In that money that comes around. But again, each and every individual has to play his or her role. And this, I mean, our clubs are not also doing enough to make sure that they market the product. The product is the player. But we rarely find clubs marketing the players. Ndawapatia mfano, like, everyone will say, like, maybe the best league in the world is EPL, English Premier League. For me, I'll say La Liga, But again, why is it that EPL is the best league in the world? Because they always market, they sell.
Okay.
But for us, clubs have not bought that aspect of, can we invest in the marketing aspect? Because kuna hata mimi najua vile mko hapo nasikianga Tusker leo anacheza wapi. Yeah, enough when you wake up, it's all over the news.
Okay.
Can they put money into marketing aspect so that we can market our game, we can have the numbers in the stadium, and then we can have the corporates coming.
You have a point there. We're going to take a break at this point, but you do have a point, because I can imagine. So Alpha Onyango scored the lone goal for Kenya yesterday, but how many people know who Alpha Onyango is? How many people know who he is?
Austin.
Before, yeah.
Our Kenya.
Yes.
Austin.
The gentleman who scored the goal yesterday.
Austin.
Yeah.
Yes.
Austin Alpha, who scored the goal yesterday. How many people know who he is? Before yesterday's match. How many people know? But if you say Eric Haaland today, everybody knows who he is, knows what he looks like, knows his shoe size, knows how tall he is, knows where his mother lives. Everybody knows anything about that because of the marketing that has been done around it. Sure. And I often say that sportsmen are some of the greatest ambassadors for any country because of what then they're able to do. So how seriously then can this be taken when you take it from one place to the next? When you say, okay, well, let's do a splash. Let people come together to actually push this talent out there. We'll come back and look at some more of these things when we come back. And to say that after Chan, for Harambee Stars, for example, will you take all 25 of those players and put their faces on the map and then actually use their talent to speak for the country? We'll come back and we'll discuss that when we come back from this break. The president of the Kenya Footballers Welfare Association is James Situma. He's here with us this morning. We're talking Chan and more. We'll be back after this break at 22 minutes to 10.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
I make my Tuesday count by reading the Financial Standard. It helps me make much better and smarter financial decisions.
Setting the standard every day of the week. The Standard, Kenya's bold newspaper.
Wewe toka mimi wewe. kulipa.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Now, for Chan, what would be needed to say, okay, perhaps at some point we can continue to push that agenda and see that they come out, you know, as ambassadors for the sport, but also then ambassadors for the country. What would need to be done? And do the players themselves, because we can talk about the players must be supported. Do they also realize, you know, where they are in the scheme of things and actually what kind of contribution they can actually make towards this thing?
Yeah, the good thing with having a chance in the national team is that, you know, your profile inakuwa iko juu. Na most of the European teams or more professional league, they always they will prefer a national team player. That means that you are good, you know, you tried and tested under pressure, the mentality, the attitude, you know. So for us, you know, we really encourage the aspect of players being profile as a player. The challenge we normally have is that my name is Situma James, but again, on the social media handles, I don't use my really names, you know. Maybe I'm using some funny names. So myself, I haven't profiled myself as Situma James, as a player first, you know. So first thing, players need to profile themselves. And then the second thing, you know, the advantage we have now being in the national team, like we need to have maybe a video analyst, you know, who will analyze each and individual, you know, the minutes you played, the energy you gave, maybe, you know, the statistics, each and every player that is being participating in the national team, you know, after the tournament, you know, these are the statistics that you are given as a player. You know, you go rate yourself, and these are the statistics that you can use as a player to profile yourself. You know, you can have, you know, nowadays you can just send your videos to a team, a prospect team, and they get a chance to watch everything, watch your strength, your weakness, and if you can be a plus to the team, they're in a position to sign you. So my word will be that players need to profile themselves, you know, make sure that you have the statistics that wherever you're playing, because hiyo ndio kazi yako, unaona. And after that, maybe now we can use the same players also, as you said, maybe, because when you're in a national color, tunaweza kuweka mahali fulani, mtu hata pia kuona naona, by the way, when I grow up, nataka nikuwe kama mtu fulani. Unajua, seeing is believing, you know. And also what we need more is just come up with a good package, not a one-time package for the national team players, you know. So this is something that we can nezaziweka chini, inakuwa I want to play in the national team. Once I have a call up in the national team, my life may change, you know. So italeta more competition to the league, and that means that we have a very strong national team. We have quality at the national team. Unlike most of the times when you go to the national team, unapata mchezaji amekuja sijalipwa na nini. Ukiangalia, by the way, pesa president ameweka for the first time in pesa mingi, si ndio? But logically, ukiangalia tu in football still ni kidogo. Kuna players getting good money outside there, unaona. So na if 1 million can give us that result, massive result yesterday. So if we come up with good structures and we come up with long-term plan na tuweke good package, unaweza imagine tunaweza, hakuna mtu anaweza toka hapa na points. So hizo ni vitu lazima tuzifanye. We learn in the process, but zinataka very sober mind, watu wenye wanaangalia future, watu wenye wanataka kutengeneza ball for the upcoming
separated from the money, because
exactly.
like Okari is saying, you know, this whole thing is wrapped around people following the money.
Yeah.
So I mean, look at the wrangles that have been had at the FKF for forever, you know, and that is the local organization that's going to foster these things that you're talking about.
Sure.
Before you start to get up to the regional bodies, to the global bodies, before you get up to, you know, the almighty FIFA itself, the FKF has a responsibility here. And unfortunately, it looks like it's been wrangled by money matters.
Benny McCarthy could leave. They could fire him. I mean, there's constant politics around this.
And
things.
you know what's the genesis? It's all about structures. Let us have good structures. Let each individual know his role in the organization setup. But if you don't have good structures, that's whereby maybe ndachukua simu hii nisongesha, but it's not my role. It's not my duty.
But what do you mean by good structures, Situma? Are you saying Kenyan football hakuna structures? Or what do you mean when you say good structures? Like in terms of leadership, management?
Exactly. I mean in management, because everything is a process. As an organization, we have departments. Even in the national setup, we have departments. We have the medical, you know, we have the technical, we have the playing unit, we have the logistic department. So if we have those structures na ziko well outlined, itakuwa kila mtu anajua role yake. Na unaona juzi what happened when our national team traveled to Arusha. You know what happened? They didn't play. Walifly to Arusha, wakarudi na basi. Kocha akasema wanacheza wapi? Walipelekwa msitu. So ukiangalia in that situation, it tells you that someone didn't do his role. Right? I'm a coach. If team inafaa kuwa Nakuru, mimi sitaki kujua vile atakuwa Nakuru. Mimi bora nipeane time ya training in Nakuru. Mwenye atachukua timu ifike Nakuru is someone else. So when I mean good structures is that we come up with that means administrative structures. And also always have an idea of the organization, Kenya Footballers Welfare Association. Now we have Hussein Mohammed as the president of Federation Football Kenya. We also need to empower the club administrators. And this way I mean, we just need to have this forum of how can you administer club? How can you lead? How can you make the best organization within you? So these are the things that we need to do it deliberately, because most of the club owners, you know, they just vile ana operate kwake, that's the same thing anafanya kwa club. Now that's something else, because ukiangalia hapa, when I come back to structures, in Kenya as a coach, if you are given, like tomorrow you have we introducing technical director, know directly that's a coach, you know. You know, when you lose 2 games, then the technical director takes over. It doesn't happen in this world anywhere, you know. So when I mean good structures, we understand the structures, and they have the lines, the roles that we can perform. I as a patron, I as the chairman, I as the coach, what are my limits? What are my expectations?
So we look at the management of sports in the country, and we talk about FKF, and we know what FKF has been. So if you look at from days of Nyamwea all the way to now, we have Mohammed, and there has been wrangles after wrangles after wrangles, which one would say has played a big role in stifling the growth of the sport in the country. So here we talk about good leadership that is needed in the sport. But then again, also you mentioned having individuals who are packaging our players well, for them to even FKF acting, so be it, as an agent in terms of just publicity around the players, but that is not happening. So what's your position on FKF and its responsibility on shining light on football in the country?
Yeah, FKF, they are in charge of all football activities in Kenya under the sports ministry. But again, you know, I always give my blame to the clubs, because clubs are the delegates that always votes in the president or his administration at the FKF. But we have never had, for a couple of years, we have never had sober clubs, chairmans or delegates that can sit down and talk the way forward. Like, this is the way we want us to go. This is the direction we want us to go as clubs, you know. So we have always had the divisions in between, and something that always persists is or consistency is, you know, when these people coming in, maybe they want the votes, they make sure they divide. You know, they divide the groups. So when you divide the groups, you know, someone that has a large or a big crowd wins, of course. But I haven't had, I always, okay, I will not name names, but most of the times I have a couple of club chairmans that I always talk to, and I ask them, do you always, like, you as club administrators, without the federation, do you have meetings, do you have forums where you can come, chat the way forward and say, this how we want us to go in football matters. This is what we want in football, but they don't, and they have wamekubali wagawanywe, so kila mtu anajua kama saitu kama national politics niko kwa government. That's what happens even in football. So we have clubs that are close to the administration at the federation. We have clubs that the federation feels wale ni rivals, unaona. So we can't have any constructive or any meaningful talk about football to make sure that we come up with a good structure and we come up with a good sober mind. Now, because inafaa uko in a position here when things are wrong, they call, like me, I'm the president of Kenya Footballers Welfare Association. I'm elected by the members who are the club representatives. And when we're not working, wanatuuliza maswali bana. Tuko na issue hapa, mbona haijafanyika, tunataka vitu vikwe. That's why we always have the general meetings, you know. But politics will play part before the general meetings. Unapata they have behind the scene discussions. Ukikuja maybe when I have a genuine discussion that or a genuine point I want to iron out, then I don't have the support, I don't have the numbers, so inapata inakufa before itoke, unaona. So I think ni kitu pia ni direction. I believe in Hussein Mohammed is a listening guy, and I know these are things that we need to do. Have these forums zenye mnaweza ingia kwa room kosane pale na make sure come up na solution. So bila hiyo tutakuwa kwa problem, because ukiangalia now we have this issue of club licensing. Yenye unapata it deals with the welfare of the players, even the structures of the teams. Na ukiangalia we have like basic vitu zenye zinafaa clubs zifanya, like maybe having a physical office, having maybe a youth team under your senior team. But how many few clubs iko na office? Kuna zingine bado zina run tu kwa magari. Chairman anakuambia naingia town, so utakuwa side gani tupatane?
In the office.
Eco mobile office.
On the go.
Yeah.
On the go.
Yeah.
Football is a moving sport.
Then in that case too, man, we go back to the same issue of branding and marketing, like you're saying. You compare EPL, you compare La Liga. EPL seems to be positioned in a way that it looks like it's the best league, while you are, and I totally agree with you, it may not necessarily be the best league, but tukirudi hapa nyumbani. So is the problem media visibility, or is the problem poor player management or poor club management, or is it simply we have weak domestic league marketing? Because at the end of the day, the argument is we want to support our own, but tukienda kwa hizo siasa umetaja huko chini, how do you even start thinking about doing publicity when huko chini kuna drama yote?
Yeah, so nimesema hivyo kwa sababu ukiangalia FKF is just an entity, just an organization yenye unapata iko ina vilabu ndio zinaweka kwanza pale, so which means they have the numbers, unaona. Now kitu ya kwanza kila mtu acheze role yake vizuri, because first when you talk about the aspect of marketing, that goes to even the players. As Situma James, I have my own social handles. Nikatazi tu kuamuka maybe ninajibrand niseme by the other nikumbuke game nilicheza maybe 2 years ago, ama ni one of my best games at the national team, unaona. Hiyo ni already visibility mwenyewe nimejipea, unaona. So players, they're not doing enough to make sure that they wanajimarket because vitu zina change, but unapata kuna mtu anasema ati mimi napenda kuwa chini ya maji. Ile chini ya maji you will never like make noise about yourself. Unaona, write your own stories.
Because chini ya maji, because I remember there's a player some time back I spoke to, very very quiet fellow, but it's really really good. I'll not mention his name. And hiyo story ya kwa chini ya maji is he doesn't want to create the allure that he akona do juu atasumbuliwa na watu mtaani juu anaishi nao huko mtaani. So you know, when you grow as a brand and you are big and you're getting all these endorsements, the assumption is you've got money. So watu watakukujia mtaani ama watu watashinda kusumbua kuitisha pesa. So to cover all those things up, where cheza tu chini ya maji.
No, I have a question. Do you know how much I have vile nimeka hapa?
No.
Sasa until you say or until you
no, but nikikuona kwa TV.
No.
Nikikuona advertisements.
Vile wewe huko, it doesn't matter like ukiniona advertisement, watu wangapi wanaendanga advertisement. The problem we have as players, shida utokea ni unajua when money comes in we change lifestyle. Hiyo ndio our problem, unaona. But me, I believe in fact the richest guys in this world unaweza pita naye hapa nje tu, hata maybe hata yamwagie maji lakini usijue, lakini akona pesa. So it doesn't haikuweki kando na kujibrand na visibility yako, cause just posting a photo haimaanishi una pesa ama una pesa, unaona. Na ukiangalia by the way, kuna watu wako visibility iko but they're so quiet, yenye unapata mkipatana na hivi hata hizi kuambia vitu alikuwa anaandika, unaona. So hiyo ni kitu ya kwanza. Ya pili, about the clubs, we don't have sponsorship, but how can we attract the corporate to come on board and make sure that they pump in money to the game, or they support the club? We have few clubs that are supported with the corporate, like Bandari, we have KCB, we have Tusker, you know, but hizi zingine kama community based clubs, how can we use the numbers, the community, to make sure that we attract the corporate? We don't sell. Cause vile amesema, unapata until yesterday ndio mtu alijua kuna Austin. Unaona? So Gore amefanya nini kupiga kelele kuhusu Austin mpaka watu wakajua, like hata mtu akiamuka TV, by the way, mimi nashangaa kwa nyumba mtoto anamuka na kuambia Messi na Cristiano. Why? Because everywhere, unaona, kwa play mpaka kwa PlayStation. But for us, we have this notion whereby at times clubs, they don't want to invest in the players, but wanataka tu watumie badala ya kujua even if they invest in the players, because the corporate will want to associate with someone mwenye wanaleta value in fact kwa community na pia kwa biashara.
Let me ask, on average, how much does a player earn?
Kenya?
Yes.
We have, let's say 100,000.
That's the average.
Average.
The best earning.
No.